Oofda. It's raining outside, so this could get weird. Since I'm leaving my window closed. Let me just double check, make sure. Yep, we're all good. Hello. Airbrush day. Airbrush day is always fun. We finished all the builds. We finished the builds on these guys. And what we found is, I think pressure might be all you need to attach the guns. So I'm probably not going to worry too much about it. I can always go backtrack and try to get magnets that work for this. I don't think I have small enough magnets that I would want. Like, I would want a magnet that's that small. And I think they exist, I just don't have any. But yeah, pressure works there. And then I kind of went back and I reworked this guy. I put the magnet to the top. And I made it so you just kind of just like pop it in there and then snap the wire in. And then the pressure just kind of holds it. And boom, you just take it apart. Magnets. How do they work? All right. Rubber glove. Activate music for specifically the Twitch side of things. You YouTubers get the non-denominational free to use music. How's everyone doing though? Get this glove on. Thankfully the team isn't like a ton of stuff. I think we can get away with a little bit here. So the idea. White primer. That's the start. Yellow. That's mostly for like the ground and like the lower parts of the legs and limbs. That's going to get built up to green to try to give it a little bit of difference. Which is going to cut around the mid part of the body with permanent violet dark. To try to give it like the fade from glowing to an actual physical form. And then light phthalo blue over that, leading to titanium white. Titanium white we're going to go very light on, though. I don't want it to feel like the titanium white is built up to 100% opacity. I more want it to feel like it's kind of like a blue-gray. So we got to get started with what little I have left. What's up, Gold Bells? Gotta really mix all this crap well. I actually spent about 20 minutes cleaning my airbrush before this, so hopefully it's fine. I'm gonna run a little bit of cleaner through it. Perfect. Oh, that's perfectly fine. I feel like most people chill in here and just don't talk, which isn't great for the metrics, but I don't know, it feels right. What's up, Deserved? Let me double check to make sure the plugin is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Yeah, okay. I turned back on multi-chat. If I get banned over on Twitch for a little bit, oh well. I'm gonna assume I'm very small as a creator. so maybe they won't care. I've heard makeup sponges are good, and I mean, they are. So if you boil painting and illustrating and everything down, it's just mark making. So the tools you get and the marks they make, that's what the end result is, right? Like, that's your goal. If you think you want the texture of a makeup brush on an object, a unit, whatever, do it. It's a good idea. It has a very specific texture and tone. Like, if you're trying to go for, like, a clean look to a character, sponge won't work. But, I mean, it has its own purposes. And those purposes are fine. I have regular sponges. I don't have makeup sponges. Hopefully we don't have to add too much extra onto that guy. It's all about the build-up with the makeup sponge, which means you're kind of reliant on your paint being decent with its opacity, like a layer paint. So if the paint you're applying is a little too liquidy and not as high in opacity, you're not going to pick up the best qualities of the brush. So definitely focus on getting some good layer paint for it. That way you're maximizing the benefit. You can do some cool things with it though, like taping off an area, stenciling an area, and then using the makeup brush to be like the way that you paint into the stencil, so it creates sort of like a physical paint feel to it. That's how you can do like chevrons, cautionary lighting, or cautionary marks and stuff. It's really good. No, yeah. You can do... Everything's texture. Everything's texture. If you ever go to an art store, look at some of the brush sections. They have like natural sponges that can give you some wild looking textures. The makeup brushes are more designed for like a gradiated feel, which is very good. The brushes I have are just general painter brushes, which they're fine. What up, buddy? But yeah, everything is texture. Everything is texture. And there's a lot of like the purpose of miniature painting is achieving texture. You can do like straight up color. Like that's also fine, just to like make something feel like poppy almost. And it's valid. It's a viable thing. Go for it. I don't know if 3 dreads at 1K is a good idea. I mean, you can try it. If we skew a little too hard into anti-armor or are able to out-OC your dread, it won't work as much. But I mean, it's probably a thing. Because dreads only have so much OC. They're easily overwhelmed. Probably have to hit that with a follow-up phase. I feel like makeup brushes would probably work best with a wet palette, like a wet on wet palette, where you're blending the colors live on the palette between where you want to go and where you're starting from. That way you can like quickly get to the color you want to add in like your next phase, right? Kind of like how in actual makeup application, you kind of do that with like a makeup palette. It's all about that smooth blend. Thanks for the mama. Too bad, deserved. You have to adult. Hashtag Sag. Yeah, the dry brush pots are nice. Some of the painters I follow on Instagram, if you want a fun dry brush palette, just buy a really big Lego. Like a really big Lego sheet. Like one of those giant squares meant to just build up from with Lego. If you can get one of those big flat squares, it works as a great dry brush platform. Just like my ADHD palette with the little silicone push bubbles. That could also work. Move along. Anyone got any fun projects they're working on? I saw some, I guess, the completed version of the Death Watch that someone posted in our Discord with those nice icy and watery ground. It made me want to like double think my bases here to actually put the pools on them like I was thinking of. Originally I was going to try to put big black crystals on them, but the black crystals I ordered were way larger than these bases. I was kind of disappointed. At least they were cheap. No, yeah, people do charge too much for them. I'm telling you, man, Legos. Big Lego sheet. It's perfect. I think Zambi's Decay was using the big Lego sheet. I do like the look of these beetles. Necron have really cool, just like, multi-layered armor designs with weird tech. Lego Game Boy. What, you building the Nintendo edition Lego Game Boy, or are you doing... I think I saw the video of the guy who built a Lego Game Boy that, like, completely worked because he put a Game Boy inside of it and just, like, perfectly encased it with Lego, with some custom 3D print Lego pieces. Ugh. Okay. So, thing I need to do. Oh, okay. Yeah. This was a lot harder to do than I thought. Oh no. Maybe we do. No. Set down on plastic. Nice. Drop onto plastic. If I have to brush touch them up, I'll have to do that, but that'll be a post all of this problem. No. Oh, I screwed up. Okay, there we go. Full recovery. I think the tip inside the protective layer is probably getting a little too backed up. I have to clean it. There we go. It's kind of the problem of using primer through an airbrush. As it dries, coming out the main nozzle sort of closes the hole around the needle. Uh-oh. Why is the pressure dropping? Is it the tank? That's not good. Okay. It's always something. Let me drain this. It's not normal for the air pressure to drop like this. Since that's separate from where the paint's going, it's kind of like a separate directional tube. So the fear now is that somehow the paint has made it into the actual entry point for the air. Which is not something I've experienced before with one of these. Either way, I need to clean this. It was able to push the air back through, so I'm still going to assume it's the front needle. Like the front exhaust. The needle probably... I'm going to assume the chamber might have gotten some dried gunk in it. Because that's good right there. That's fine. Starting to clear up a little bit, but let's actually go all the way in. Yeah, there's some gunk on the actual end of the needle tip. Ugh, so close to being done. The frickin' ugh. Alright. Needle it. Cleaning needle. Yeah, so gooey. chamber. Ta-da! Just get the gunk out. It's like always the problem. It's just find the gunk, get the gunk out. De-gunk. Okay. So we only have a couple things. We need to prime still. And then maybe a little bit of correction, so I don't need to fill this too much. There we go. Ta-da. Drop on plastic. Word. I'll let this go for a little bit. Ta-da! Okay, let's double check all the little guys. Make sure to hit them with a little extra in places that feel a little too gray versus white. Not much. You don't want to overwhelm too much with the primer. It is a nice thin primer, but can always go too far. Okay. Oh, almost perfectly put the right amount in. So yep, next here is the yellow. kind of sucks, but I do want to finish this. I should really be sitting here talking to you guys about strategy with how to play knights into the 3 missions I gotta play. I'm gonna go into this tournament completely forgetting everything. It's gonna be great. Clean the front nozzle off. Good. Give these a second to dry. I doubt it. I doubt we're playing Friday. Because I'd drive down there. Oh, maybe. I don't know. Friday's technically my day off. You guys full day Friday, or is like everyone showing up at like 7? Because I don't want to like go to bed at 4 a.m. again, only to have to wake up at 8 a.m. to get to my tournament on Saturday. Because, yeah, my parents are back in the area, so I might have to do stuff with them. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way I'm getting to your house at 7, we're playing something, and then coming back. It's a 1v1, it's a 2K, it's a Rogue Trader tournament. It is a 30-person tournament. Maybe I can show you... Here, while we wait for this to dry. Let me pull up the missions. Download. Mission. How did this happen? Is there a crop button? Of course not. We'll do it this way. Okay. Studio mode. Oh, where was the button for it? Hang on. Oh, it's not actually full screen. Feed. So this is one of the missions. The layout never changes. To be clear, the layout will never change here. This mission was the Take and Hold. This is the one we were testing out at Wraith's place before, and this is the one that I showed one of the competitive players at the store when I was like, did you see this one? And he was like, nah, I wasn't really thinking about it. And then I was like, all right, here you go. And he was like, oh god, this is weird. So if you'll notice, the terrain layout, which the terrain layout's kind of garbage because these have no cover. The mission is hold up to 3 for a max score of 15. So, like, there's no way to actively hold this in the middle. Right? You kind of have to not play for the objectives and instead play reactionary against people who do stuff on the objectives. Which kind of sucks. I don't know how to do this with my knights. Normally what I've been doing is I will drop a stalker here. Well, specifically like, yeah, on the line, I think. Here and then here. I put it so that it can drop back 6 to come here if it doesn't want to go up. But depending on how the assumption of this wall here is, I could probably pocket it in the corner if need be. And then, yeah, I drop one, like, maybe here so that it can 6-inch scout this way. I drop one of my big bases here, specifically like this, so it's not easy to get vision. Like, I have to make sure it can't have vision on it. It's like a weird thing to put it here. And then I usually put my despoiler here. The mistake I made against him because he was playing Subterranean was I didn't have an executioner here to move up and like push the little holes out. So he was able to drop a hole and then 6-inch drop a guy like right on my despoiler, and that's not what you want. I do have a bunch of... So my main goal is Tyrant here, because the Tyrant has a 12-inch anti-reserve bubble, and he's cool to sit in mid, because all he has to do is toe here, and then, or rather, like, around the... He could go around the corner, he could toe on, or he could kind of do, like, a weird little, like, thing like this. So you can see everything over here and everything over here. That's really good for a Tyrant when it's time to go. Especially when you have a despoiler here that can just toe on here, and then see all of that and everything... kind of like that way, right? And then I just have like 5 or 6 dogs over here past the stalker and executioner that should be over here. They move up. I have a rotational carnivore here, a second wave carnivore here, and then I think I don't know where to put the other carnivore. Maybe like here, because I feel like I had like a carnivore and a carnivore kind of like behind objectives. No, I've been hit. I've been hit by the bot. And I think Broshi's asleep. Hi-ya. There we go. But so the way people normally run Infernal is they have 2 squads of Nurglings to do the infiltrate lines, and then they have 2 Beasts of Nurgle that they can be like, Beast of Nurgle, enjoy. I don't have that because I don't play Nurgle, and I don't want to just buy a bunch of Nurgle demons for no reason. Because if they ever become bad, then I just have Nurgle demons for actually no reason. When I talked to the guy that plays competitive, he talked about how he actually would personally prefer to use the Bloodletters because he likes the corn stuff instead of Nurgle, but like it's understandable to use Nurgle as sit on point and be obnoxious. I have a squad of Blue Horrors and a squad of Flamers, small squad, 3. My original idea is to put a line of blues across mid. If my opponent has Infiltrate, pick a side like my expansion if I get to drop first to do a line of 10 blues like this. They are sacrificial blues. I do not care if they die. I just don't. Alternatively, I could see stuffing them like back here to try to be within 6 to prevent big. No, yeah, Scarab Swarms are basically mini Nurglings. If I go first, Stalkers move up. Specifically, this one might pocket here. If these are considered infinite height or... These are either considered infinite height or breakpoint height. It just depends on the tournament. If they're breakpoint height, I can't move it up without taking first turn. And then even then, it's probably pointless. On this side. This side's a little bit more better, maybe, if I want to get to an objective. I think maybe this... I don't know. This Stalker might be meant for popping mid, although Blue Horrors being here, starting here, for the early game area denial could be good. And then the Flamers just sit in inventory, because if everyone moves out, or, you know, it's very hard to screen 3 medium-sized bases. So if I get behind enemy lines, it's just like, oh, cool, 3 Flamers. I get baby behind enemy lines for 60 points. I'm cool with it. But I hate this map. The fact that it's taken hold, the fact that there's no cover. I feel like there's going to be some lists that are literally built for this to be able to send people to mid and for me not to be able to kill them. Although I will say if that list is explicitly focused on applying benefit of cover to models in the open, that's what Infernal Lance is good against. I can turn it off. This is the next mission. Again, same layout. I'm trying to remember what this was. I think this is Scorched Earth. This is easier. This is just easier because you just have... I can, you know, pre-game blue their expansion on here, 1 inch off wall. I can pre-game blue on my expansion, 1 inch off wall. But this is the problem for setup. Because, like, Tyrant or Despoiler goes here. And then I don't know what else to do. I feel like Tyrant goes here. And because turn 1 is usually a nothing turn, I think I actually put my Despoiler in reserve. With maybe the Flamer squad. What is it? It's 500? No, it's 1,000 points, right? For reserve. Which would be like the Flamer squad, the Despoiler, and maybe like 1 or 2 dogs. Because like I don't have room here. There's just no room. Honestly, you go like 1 Stalker maybe, 2 Carnivores, Executioners for flavor back here with the Despoiler, or the Tyrant. And then, I don't know, maybe you drop a Stalker in reserve, a Carnivore in reserve, a Despoiler, and then the Flamers. Because turn 2, they should pop out somewhere. Like, if they just walk on the board here, they get some good vision. Just walk over here, straight line shot. Coming in 6 inch off the table edge, this is 4 inches. So if you're able to come in 6 inch off, I can come in toed on. Same thing here. Come in toed on here. So that I can get some vision this way. Although this is pretty good blocking. But I don't know. I've never been good at Scorched Earth. I never know when to burn. I know if you just have advantage, you kind of want to just burn early. Just make it impossible for people to want to go into any of these directions. And then this is the last one. This setup, I think, is decently easy. Because the Despoiler or Tyrant can go here. Same thing on this side or this side. I do feel like my big knights have to play back to give my little knights frontline setup potential. Be like a... And then I don't know. My list doesn't work for the cards is kind of the issue. So I need to start thinking about like not scoring stuff and instead reactionary annihilating things. Try to make my enemy become out of gas by turn 3. It's probably the way to go. And then just spread out and see what I can get. Because, like, even if you have an infiltrator squad here or something early game, and I drop a stalker here so that it can drop back or move forward, if I have turn 1, I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to get you. That's kind of the trick. Just get some speed on these sides to get whatever's over here. I don't know. I don't feel good about the list. I know knights are going to be simpler for me to play than most things. And that's kind of why I'm leaning into them. But I am kind of leaning into thinking that, like, my armored Thousand Suns is a good idea. But I don't want to change this close. What's up, Blaze Angel? I do not play Necromunda. I know a bunch of people who do, but I have not added that rule set to my repertoire. It looks interesting. No, yeah. I think I forward play like an Executioner here. And then keep it backed up by a Despoiler. Because I don't really care about an Executioner. It's either that or I put my Blue Horrors here. Which I really don't care about. And then the Despoiler just hangs out here. Tyrant, maybe. Like, what I usually do for the Tyrant play is I make sure he can kind of toe on, like, on this side so he can see out this way. Oh, what's up, Fiat? We're going over tournament stuff before I go back to painting. How goes Battlefield, man? I keep seeing you playing it. I think the main thing with the Tyrant is I can drop it here, and then in turn 3, I can walk it through the wall if I need to come over here. But yeah, this mission layout is the one I'm most worried about. And I think the advice the one person at the store gave me of not caring about going for mains for at least like 2-3 turns is a good idea. And then this one's the setup problem. I do think I put the Despoiler in reserve. Because there's no way someone gets here, like right off the rip. I do need to basically take either this side or this side. I need to choose. Probably this side since it's the stronger position. And then just send a bunch of dogs this way to make sure nothing comes over. And then drop the Despoiler out on this side. In turn 2. Alright, primer should be good. Whoop. That's good to hear, man. I was looking at it, but, like, I don't know. It didn't really look like my game. Yeah, it's a local tournament. It's about probably, like, 40 minutes away, 30 minutes away from here. 30 person. A lot of big players. Are you into tabletop games, 40K stuff? Like, is it just, like, a passing thing? Because if I were to tell you that, like, out of every faction in the entirety of 40K, within an hour of me, there's at least 2 people in the top 10 in the world chart. Like, would that blow your mind? I don't understand what it is about this location and competitive players. Alright, let's get the yellow going. And apparently at this location, with what people have talked about and names that are on the roster who signed up, there's at least 3 people who do international tournaments going. So it's kind of like a small rivalry between our store, which has 2 to 3 people who do international tournaments, and their store. So it's kind of fun. So, oh, Jesus, what the hell? So, like, it's a ranking system, right, Fiat? It's kind of like, and it's per faction. Like, this is the Necrons. This is a single faction. So the way the international, like, matchmaking system and points keeping system and kind of like a tournament MMR works is when you do grand tournaments, your win-loss rating and stuff changes your MMR. So they actually track internationally how good players are. And yeah, they'll just have like a top like 200, 300 list constantly running. I might have to turn down the brightness for you guys. This is about to blow out my camera. And yeah, a lot of the people near me are like top 10, top 20 out of thousands of players. Oh yeah, New York has some very heavy hitters. I don't need to worry too much past a certain point with the yellow. It's more near the bottom that matters, and I guess up from below. Like I think like top 3 Death Guard player in the world, like at a random small comic book store tournament. He kicked my ass. Like, I saw a version of this game I didn't know existed when I played that guy. I was like, oh, whoa. Oh, nice. I do mostly kill team stuff, but over here I usually talk about the game itself. I'll talk about anything over here. I mean, we're painting shit. Might as well converse. Giant scarab beetle. This is more for the skirmish scale, what I'm putting together right now. A buddy of mine wants to play, but he hasn't had time to paint anything, and he doesn't want to just play with unpainted stuff, which I told him we don't care about. But I figured I'd get him something fun. I bought them, and then I glue them together, and now I paint them. People say I'm okay at painting. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I'm painting. So long and good night. To the people on YouTube, you're going to occasionally hear me poorly sing random lines. It's because over on Twitch we are listening to actual music. And some of the songs are very nostalgic to me. Oh yeah, Wraith bought these. I build them. I bought the paints. I bring the style. Style, efficiency, class. I have not seen the new Vallejo range. I fall into one of the problems with paints. I bought a ton of it. And I've painted like 4 armies, and I think I've replaced in total maybe like 6 colors. Like, I don't need more. Like, normally what'll happen is, so I bought the old Vallejo range. I have a ton of it, right? Like, they give you so many colors. It's like a million kinds of like greens and stuff. It's all over the place. It was on sale for like a Black Friday weekend thing, and I was just like, yeah, I'll get them. This will be awesome. So whenever I get a new army or a new model or something big to paint, I take a look at that box and I look for a paint I haven't used yet. And then I just use it on it. And then I just move on. So I have not needed new paints outside of like a couple different colors in like 3-4 years. I just haven't needed it. Ooh, true metallic metal. Wait, is it actual metallic? Is it like glitter metallic, or are they giving you a series of layer paints to paint like the flat metallic? Okay. Their metallics are good. I liked their gold. I actually rebuy their gold every time. That's my Thousand Suns gold. It looks so burnished. I love it. By the way, this paint is blacklight reactive that we're using. It's one of the things everyone around here is starting to know me for. Armies that glow. Oh, this ridiculousness. Good thing we don't need to do the guns with the underglow. Alright. Phase 2 of the build-up. And we're going to need to start pushing these aside so they don't get hit by any of the ambient spray. Because this is where we need to be slightly more exacting. I'll do this one first. Where we need to get a little bit better with trigger control. Just a little, though. We need to get really good at trigger control once we get to the titanium white. And then probably the next couple days is going to be the physical paint part. Like layer painting and all that. Clear the nozzle. That's nice though. Vallejo's good. Vallejo's good. If people in chat paint and haven't used Vallejo and have been thinking of trying it, definitely give it a try. They have great airbrush paints. We looked into it not that long ago. The factory strike from the workers, when the new owner decided that they didn't deserve a living wage, actually came through. So the workers are doing well, as far as we can tell. I use Stynylrez primer. I love Stynylrez primer. Yeah, they were taken over by private equity, and then like they went through all the factories and were like, "You're all about gonna make less." Like they were just like, "We want to make tons of money." And they were like, "Well, we're gonna stop making paints." And they're like, "Ah, fine, we'll hire new people." Only to find out that the art of actually making really good paints and ensuring quality actually requires generally skilled people who have good experience within that like existence of knowing how pigment works and all that. And there's not a lot of those. All right, so a little bit of trigger discipline here. To pull this up to green. Lemon lime. We'll spritz the ground a little bit with it. It was weird that they bought a paint company. Like when I heard like Vallejo acquired by private equity, I was like, what? Like that's not something that hits your head and you're just like, okay. hit a little bit on the ground. We're gonna add a pigment powder to the ground when all is said and done. Oh, you're going hard on the metallics for your towel? So what kind of things are in there? Let me check my phone. What kind of things are in there? Is it like shifters? Or is it just like straight up like 10 different kinds of gold? Lemon lime, lemon lime. Yeah, man. I'll take a look. Let me take a look. Instant computer virus. Ooh, like a turquoise metal? Oh. I will say, okay. If you're going to, like, these look really crazy. Amethyst purple metallic. These would be great for gemstoning. Whatever you do with these, get, like an Army Painter matte varnish. Unless you're like really into like this kind of a look. Matte varnish, when applied over super shiny metallics like this, looks so good. So this guy, the gold, is matte varnished. And that's just Vallejo gold. So you don't get like the huge shine, but it's just enough. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that little... It's like, yeah, man, I'm kind of gold. But don't worry about it, bro. Like I said, Fiat, color is kind of my thing. Bright colors, shiny objects. Ooh, yeah, no. The that turquoise metal plus matte varnish would look so hot. Like, that would be wild. It'd be super good. That's kind of what I did with, but I kind of did it as like a roundabout way. My Angels of Death kill team, I decided to make them look like Alpha Legion because I don't really want like Space Marines. Chaos all the way. So I did a silver base, like a silver and platinum base to them, and then I hit it with like a turquoise contrast to make it look like turquoise metallic. And then when you hit them with the matte varnish, it just looks so good. I mean, they are. They're just making sure Space Marine. You know, they're like the internet security guys of the Space Marines. You know, they check to make sure your security doesn't have too many holes in it. And if it does, I mean, there's very real consequences. Alright. Now, we get into the part where I hit it with color that doesn't glow. Normally we do turquoise. Because I do, or like cobalt turquoise. Because I do really like the look of it. But I think we're okay doing purple. See, the problem is when I see paint like that, I start thinking of projects I could do. Right? Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, I could do that. Could you imagine a Tyranid army where their entire carapace is like a turquoise metallic? Like, they've got a super fleshy, like, undertone to it. Like, almost like a human skin look to their general flesh. And then just turquoise metallic. Because you could do turquoise metallic and then hit it with a shifter over top of it. So the turquoise looks good, but then it almost looks like an oil slick. Because shifters usually keep the base color. Like, you'll see the base color as, like, the primary. But then when the light hits it from certain angles, it'll change. So, like, you could do the turquoise metallic undercoat and then hit it with, like, a purple-orange shifter. That would look crazy. No. Here. There we go. So, this is Vallejo shifter. Vallejo actually sells it. So you see how it's like green on one side and kind of like red on the other? What this signifies is, depending on how the light is hitting, the pigment inside, like, you can almost see it. I don't know if you can see it on camera. But, like, light hitting it from one angle will make it this color. Light hitting it from the other angle will make it this color. It's, that applied to medium. So it's almost like a metallic. I wonder if oh, I do. So I hit this blue body with rose and red, I think. So you see how it goes blue? But then, like, at some... I don't know if the camera will pick it up or if the lighting will work. Like, some of it starts turning red. So I did... This is an entirely blue body. Like, a blue base body. And then it'll be like, oh, well, this part's reddish because that's how the light's hitting it. This part's yellow because that's how the light's hitting it. Normally what you're supposed to do is hit a surface with like a super gloss, like a black super gloss or something. Then you hit it with shifter because the glossy paint actually pushes the shifter like brightness up. But if you have a metallic base, like a teal metallic, I think it would look really cool. Or even any of the color metallics, because there's a lot of shifter. There's like a lot of them. There's like a blue to purple, purple to orange. So you just pick a color that's neither, right? Like if you're gonna go purple metallic, then you pick like an orange and blue. And then boom. Alright, we gotta do permanent dark violet. That could be really cool though. Make them look like oil slick backs on Tyranids. If they have a dark variant, like if they have like a dark teal metallic, that could work out. Pull back, let it gradiate even harder. Don't want to get too close. Sea green, bluish undertone. Oh yeah. Were you were the one that had the big suits coming out of like trees and stuff, right? Like that was you? Seen a lot of you guys post models in the Discord, starting to bleed together with who I'm looking at. So you're trying to match them like it's almost like a camouflage, I guess. That could work. Stealthy Tau. Ooh, I do like this. I do like how this looks. Dark violet, baby. I think I've used it once before, and it's just been sitting on my palette shelf for a while. I don't think I want their, like, Necron glow lighting to be green. I want the world to be green, but their Necron glow lighting might be, like, orange or something. Yeah, but that's wrapping. That's like air bubbles. That's air bubbles and, like, UV light. Ooh, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do their leader. Because this is all about, like, where you decide the midpoint is. Just go from there. I imagine vinyl's a pain in the ass. I imagine the question why is asked more times when using vinyl than anything else. Like, you just see a bubble form and you're just like, why? Like, everything you did shouldn't have caused a bubble to form. And then there's just one there. And you're just like, God damn it, why? So the question is, do I actually airbrush up to white or do I paint it? Because I'm not going to lie, this purple reddish color is kind of what I wanted for the inner workings of the model. Like, I want this to be the inner components into doing, like, white armor. Like, the white armor paneling. So maybe we don't do it, because I feel like if I hit this with white, I'm going to lose too much of it. Like, this might be where we end the airbrush journey, which could be good. You're having a hard time over there, man. I think we'll manually paint the guns that are going to go on their backs, because I don't need to airbrush it. They're mostly going to be this violet color. Hell yeah. I think we manual paint after this point. Switch it to manual. Yeah, I think the actual energy color these guys are going to emit is either going to be like red or orange. Maybe purple. Hey, man. Try to get nostalgic with the music a little bit. It's mostly because when I was first playing this game was when I was a kid. So, I mean, I hit myself with music from, like, my high school era. Feels about right. Reminds me of sitting around at the local hobby shop. Just listening to, like, Korn's new album while painting stuff. Better times, better times. No, 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 no. Whenever I underglow, I always do the glows first. Because so, when I see people do glow after the fact, it has to kind of be point-to-point glow. Like, the way glow should work is that it kind of comes up and goes underneath, which means if you're doing the glow after the fact like I am, you would have to white all this and then turn it upside down and then white from below, which hits areas I don't want to hit. So what I figured out when I was doing this mostly with my my Emperor's Children was you want to get the glow down first and then sort of pick the midline where you want the glow to fade. And that's where you kind of lay on your opaque color that you want to kind of like override stuff. But then you can like leave little dustings of the underglow, like what I'm doing in that bottom part there, where I'm just going to leave a little bit of the green in. That way it just feels better. But like OSLing on point is more about like picking a spot where you want the glow to be and then setting it up with the white and then going back from there, which is normal. It's not like... It's not like that's a bad way to do it. It's a fine way to do it. All you gotta do is pick the airbrush up, start going. Maybe buy a couple models off of Etsy to test stuff on. There's a couple videos that'll show you how to clean them. They're very easy to clean and keep going. Word. So the guns we need to manually paint, which isn't a big deal. So that's everything. If we're stopping there, that's great. So let me clear some of this stuff out and then start working on the test build-up. It's 2:44. Yeah, we got time. I do hear like the whole like I need to build the courage thing, and I get it. There's that fear of if I break it, that's like usually a couple $100. That's a problem. But I watched a couple how to repair airbrush videos, and what ended up happening was it really felt... Oh, this isn't the right cup for that. That's fine though. It really felt like they're kind of like the proverbial AK-47 of art supply. It's super easy to clean. There's only a few possible ways that you could break it so hard that you need to just get a new one. Like, I pulled this out of the drawer today, getting ready for today, and I haven't popped it out in like a while, right? And I immediately, like, I try, like, right away. I pull back on the trigger, and it didn't move. And I was like, oh, cool. So I just broke it down, cleaned the needle, cleaned the little point that comes out from the front, and then just double-checked the nozzle itself with the little cleaning pick that I have. Put it back together, worked perfectly fine. what's cool is there's a lot of interesting airbrushes because so for this hobby, you'll find that a lot of the people that are big fans of it are usually like engineers and stuff. Because a lot of what I'm doing right now is like an engineer's wet dream. Using machines to be creative. Right? That's kind of their jam. Alright, let me clear the airbrush of air, and then we'll just clear some of this out. Loud noise in 3, 2, 1. So, I've been made privy of a bunch of different airbrushes from no-name companies. It's literally just somebody who's a fan of airbrushes, who's also a really cool engineer. There's one where you can change the needle in it to any size needle, and you won't have to change the nozzle to match. The nozzle that's already built into it will adjust based on the needle that's in it to give it different quantities that it outputs. Meaning that you can go from like a 0.01 to like a 0.5 as a needle without needing to change more than just the needle. That's insane. Try a little bit of a paint scheme check. We will use you. Zoom. So yeah, blacklight reactive. Palette. Grab a palette. Bust out the cleanie cup. Need to keep the violet out for when we get to the guns. The rest of the stuff is probably fine to go back. I should have a So Flat Phthalo Blue. Here it is. Bam! I should have Fanatic Gray. Boom. And then we'll probably do So Flat White at the end of it. Okay. No. Gotta get your car inspected. So the plan with these guys, this undercoat that's red, I'm going to try to make a little, it's going to look a little like almost a rusted, how do I put this? Oh, I need water on here. It's going to look like a rusted, like, copper almost. I might apply actual physical metallic to it, I'm not sure yet. But yeah, see these metallic, these like panels here? The idea that I've always had for like the Necrons I've wanted to play is this idea of a Necron army that has like these pristine metallic back panels, or like white back panels almost. Well, like, almost like white armor. Like, they maybe came from a part of the Necron army that was, like, a little more utopian in their nature. Like, they wanted to achieve some level of, like, harmony or something. Or maybe they like, invaded a place by pretending to be this machine entity that was gonna, like, help the people in the area. And they painted themselves up or changed how they physically looked to psychologically appease the people they were going to take over. But just underneath is like this metal that they couldn't get to that showed kind of how old and rusted they were. I just want the dichotomy of, like, pristine and aged in one model. Like maybe like trying out a new tactic to see how easy it is to conquer an organic species. By providing them benefits and then just like pressing a button and ending it all. Yeah, basically like let's try to be Tau today. Kind of a situation. Let's see how. Let's try this Tau tactic. Of hello, fellow children. Join our empire and be like treated with great equality and seek the betterment of the universe. By the way, you will all be our trash people, and we'll occasionally experiment on you medically to see if we can turn you into fun weapons. Look at all these other factions that allied with us. Don't pay attention to the fact that some of them are wearing helmets that seem to be receiving orders from off-world ships and people that they follow without question. Dude, I can't wait till next edition when the Tau actually get that greater good god as like a character. Summon the greater good. Units with an 18-inch range are unable to make attacks. All units. Yeah, some of the old Crisis suits still look clunky and blocky. I do like the frickin' stealth one though. The big stealth one that I can never remember the name of. That one looks pretty cool. Yeah, the Ghost Keel. Ghost Keel looks cool. If the rest of the suits look like the Ghost Keel, it would be awesome, but I think the whole point is that the Ghost Keel is supposed to look like a giant stealth suit, which is supposed to be a little bit more rounded. That way they feel a little different. Yeah, I mean, that's just the variant. If it's rounded in Tau, it's stealth. If it's blocky in Tau, it's shooty. I mean, I kind of like that they're out of the 40K aesthetic a little bit, but they probably just need to be re-aestheticked. Right? Like, you don't want them to just look like knights. Because then it's like, okay, well, this is a whole other faction. Why does it look like knights? But, like, if they could make them... I don't know if you know the robots from Metal Gear Solid 4. If they could make them look more like those robots, where, like, elements of them look like they've created almost a technique where, like, the joints and stuff and the way... Let's actually do this whole thing. The joints and the way that the body moves is actually sort of like a synthetic musculature, which was kind of the secret theme behind Gasaraki, an old anime that I had that was really weird to watch. Had really cool military mech fighting scenes, but then the reveal of why it was all the way that it was like, what? Apparently all the arms, the like weapon development companies, the one that got really huge got that way because they could summon like things from another dimension or universe that were basically demons and then use their parts to create like super mechs. All right, Viet. That's Fiat D, everyone. He does stream Battlefield, usually later in the day. He's an old friend from the gigantic video game community scene that I was part of. Still miss the hell out of that game. I kind of hate that every company that's had it has basically ruined it, since it was one of the most interesting action hero games I've ever played. Oh, Darling and the Franks. Nah, I think Gasaraki would be a bit closer, I think, if they could do it. Because I feel like Gasaraki's mechs were a lot closer to the design of what they want the mechs to be. I don't know if you guys have seen Gasaraki. I could probably pull up a mech for it here in a second. Let me just get this down. I just personally feel like Gasaraki is like the better visual aesthetic for what they want, because it's still kind of blocky, but there is like a modernization to it, which looks nice, as opposed to like just not having a clue and then just kind of putting pen to paper. Ugh. Gasaraki mech. I want to find one where it's standing like proper, because there's a couple versions. There's the one where it's standing fully vertical, which isn't how it normally stands. Oh, these are both of them. So this is kind of how they stand, but usually they're kind of hunched. Like they're more in like a sort of I'm carrying a lot of weight and I'm trying to be ready to move very quickly stance. Let me get this for you, Studio. There you go. So this was the enemy faction variant, and then this was the main one from the story. These little cross things here, that's like multiple laser lenses for their sight. But the way these are built, there's a pilot whose head is up here, and then his body's down here, kind of on like a miniaturized motorcycle component that's here. Gasaraki. Gasar. Yeah, there it is. So there's like Gundam elements, kind of like the ankle guards and stuff. But then you get like these modern like deflective armor platings. This looks very much just like the top of an actual tank, but instead of a barrel, it's the face, so it protects the sides of the face. It's all deflective paneling because it's all angled in a much similar fashion as the rounded here. Like this is more flat with angles, and then this is more rounded surfaces. But it has the aesthetic of Tau, I think, where you want the pilot to be kind of like their head's in a giant helmet, and then they're down here in a device that allows them to make the vehicle move. But the thing that made this anime interesting was the things that actually made the arms and legs move in the extreme accurate manner that they do is because it's developed by like a pseudo-synthetic musculature that when electricity is applied into it will pull kind of like how our muscles work. So I feel like if that was more like the Tau tech rather than it just being kind of normal where it's like, oh yeah, it's just a ball and rotor and then there's a piece of armor here. I think that could make them a little bit more cool because then you don't necessarily need all the armor plating. You can kind of do sort of like this giant mesh like synthetic musculature metallic suit that has like maybe some armor plating on it and then a place where it looks like the pilot would sit, which could be kind of cool. But that would require a mild overhaul of the visual aesthetic, which would involve like I think the problem is they've put out the storm surges, right? Yeah. Because that's the thing, like the storm surges exist, which means if you're gonna change the aesthetic, it has to change universally. Too much, like they can't push it too far. Like you could redo the battle suits, and as long as they feel normal next to like a storm surge, then they're fine. Yeah, and the new stealth suits they have like a slight variance, I think, visually. They're kind of like the new Raptors coming up. The new Raptors, the biggest change to them is their helmet and the way their legs look. And that's about it. It could be cool, though. I mean, I was around when they first came out. And a lot of the changes that have been made are really good looking. Like, I think the broadsides look way better than the old broadsides. The old broadsides just were the same battle suits. It just, they came with these two really big cannons that you glued onto their backpack. Whereas the new ones, like, carry a giant gun, anime style. Which is pretty cool. And yeah, the legs need to be like the triple pad, like the tripod, where it kind of comes down as like three toes to keep them looking a little more agile than just the giant 4 big blocky pads that the knights get. Okay, so you do blue base and then you go over it with Brigade Gray. Try to smooth it out a little bit with that. But you leave some blue in some spots. All right, deserved. I should be getting a few more days of streaming, specifically with painting, because I do really want to like get through this for the most part. I want to see if I can get this guy up to like almost like mid-tier standard. That way we have like the one model that I can look to and be like, let's just do that. You know, we've already tested the theory. Oh, the Van Saar, those are the ones that have like super cancer, right? Because they keep using technology from the old world without any like protective elements and they don't quite know what they're doing. They're the ones with like the Green Goblin gliders and stuff. And they got the new super suits. If you look really close, you'll find out that in order to pilot those things, some of the pilots have basically like allowed themselves to be surgically removed from their bodies. Like they're basically just a head and a spinal column wired into one of those suits. Yeah. They're an everything for power kind of team. Which in the grim darkness of the far-flung future, I completely get. To feel so powerless so consistently. I have a bunch of the Ash Waste Nomads. That's what I have on hand. Because they look great as Thousand Sun Chaos Cultists. Too bad they took Chaos Cultists away from me in my Thousand Suns, but they still work for my Vashdor list, so that works. Well, a lot of the armies have Mauler Fiends and stuff. Actually, I think the Mauler Fiend might be one of the few semi-universals. Death Guard's the only one that has, like, very specific, like, mid to light tier tanks. The Mauler Fiend is one of the few that the Emperor's Children get their hands on. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of stuff. I mean, a lot of it is just Space Marine-y, though, so it just feels like you've seen it before. Which, sure. Why is my sponge already, like, hardening? Get the white highlight on. I think we go from purple to brown. That's what we do for kind of the Under Armour. Yeah. If you want to do like really good Alpha Legion, you kind of have to just buy stuff from Horus Heresy and then use it. Horus Heresy has a ton of Alpha Legion. Like, they have the really good tank armor upgrades for Alpha Legion. They've got like 4 different types of command units that look super Alpha Legion-y. I think one of the people at the store that plays Alpha Legion has mostly Horus Heresy Alpha Legion. Alright, we're going to need to pick a brown. And that brown's going to be the highlight for the purple. Either going to be Thondia or maybe Deathclaw. Well, that's the thing. A lot of the Horse Heresy models are based the same sizes as what you would use in 40K. And supposedly, Games Workshop wants to try to get away from that. Where they want you to do more with, like, keeping the different game modes separate. Although I don't really know the purpose behind that. Oh, I know what color we need. Word Bearer Red. It's so perfect. I think it might be too dark, though. It's too dark. Try some Deathclaw. And we gotta pick probably a wire color. I'm thinking like turquoise because I love turquoise. I think the brown is where we start. But what do we go to from here? Do we need to go somewhere else from here? Loyalist Marines plays into the sky, so the whole idea is a lot of vehicles and transports and then infiltrators. Oh yeah. That was the that's actually one of the detachments, which I guess you're probably using. It was the detachment that was either considered Night Lord or Alpha Legion. It's the one that uses like cultists and stuff. But like a lot of stuff gets the infiltrator keyword just because. hashtag Alpha Legion things. Well, that's the thing. Like, how cool could it be? How cool would it be for you to make like a bunch of cultists that just look like Imperial, like citizens? Like they actually just look like Imperial citizens, but maybe they have like a part of them that looks like an Alpha Legion symbol or something. Like there's like an element to every single one of them that's like, this is how they know each other. How cool would that be? Let's grab a turquoise. We might try to utilize Nihilic Oxide here. I kind of want... We'll go from Deathclaw to maybe Zamesi. Where the hell is my good turquoise? Yeah, we'll use Cabalite. Well, that's the thing, right? You can build them for Space Marines, right? Like, you'll build the Space Marines units, that's fine. And then over time, you could build up these like interesting looking cultists, and then you could just use your Space Marine models as either. So it all works out. It's kind of the beauty of like pre-planning a lot of the stuff you're building for multiple options. Like the fact that I painted my Vashdor stuff close to how my Thousand Suns look, right? Allows me to utilize my Thousand Suns tanks for my Vashdor list. Super easy. Still need to find the slightly lighter turquoise because I do want to highlight this wire a little bit. What's up, Potato? It's going all right. I'm liking a lot of these results. We're kind of going through picking colors. Trying to make sure I've got everything set aside so we can really pile through the rest of these models. That way we've got a good workflow going forward. Just gotta figure out where the hell I put my turquoise. Oh, I think I found it. The base is very bright. Because that's how I paint things. Super bright. I'm very much all about the grim bright future. Maybe we do the gems in blue. I don't know. I like the idea of red, but maybe blue leans a little bit better into kind of like the gist of what we're aiming for here. Where the robot's supposed to look like friendly. Ugh. Zamasi Desert. If we hit them with blue, that means we have to start with white. I don't know. I'm a little torn. I do kind of think that blue would be the best for the eye lenses and stuff. Problem is I don't know how much Pro Acryl I have left. And you need this to base white pretty easily. think I want to do the inner vents like that. I think I'd rather just get the violet back in there. While that stuff's down, let us work on one of these guns a little bit. Because we kind of just have to hit it with the basic color is universal to the model. We'll work back from there. I'm gonna let that dry. We've got a lot of purple out. Hang on. Let me just go through it. Guns, 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 guns. I'm pretty sure you don't really have to care about this, just because, like, into most other kill teams, you're just gonna declare what the gun is at the top, and almost all the models will use them as you go. Cool. Yeah. Ugh. have to set the guns up in putty when I varnish this. This is a really good looking violet color. I mean, I knew it kind of looked good. I didn't know it looked this good on white. Boom. Let's get the blues. Haley. I think we'll kind of stick to the metal and the gun glow when we do the weapons. Of course, the turquoise wire on the back. Try to get one gun looking up to snuff so I can just put it on its back. 410. Maybe I won't get into finishing up a beetle today. We'll just be happy with the one attempt at kind of where we want to go. And we push the base with pigment powder. Because the pigment powder does push how the blacklight reacts a bit more. Hell yeah. Kind of want to pick them up and show you guys, but at the same time, gotta wait for the ring to dry a little bit. I will post it in the Discord though. Just put things away slowly. We'll get more work done. I might work kind of off stream on the guns because they're all small and annoying looking. We'll probably do a beetle at least tomorrow, or maybe the leader, because this guy's gonna be, Geomancer's gonna be absolutely nuts. But we got 2 more macrosites and then 2 of the alternative version macrosites that we're gonna have to work on. Give me just a second. Let me actually turn down the brightness on the camera. I like the purple to brown. Oh, actually, hang on. Where did I put the giant magnet? Ah, here it is. It's a little shiny. Once I matte varnish it, it'll look better. But the other part, which let me set this guy aside. Turn off some lightage. Hell yeah. Gonna have to redo the base rings, I think, once I varnish them, because the varnish should hold down the pigment powder. That way I don't have to worry about it coming off and getting onto the base ring. But I like it. The white armor into this sort of like violet walnut metallic, which I could add some watered down nihilic oxide to in spots to make it look like kind of rusted and old. Maybe we'll consider it. For now, that's about it. I'm gonna chill a little bit today. Get a couple things done. Think more on what I need to do for this tournament, because dear God. Hopefully we stream tomorrow, because I do want to try to tear through the bulk of these. I think we'll focus mostly on the white armor going forward. Get everyone's white armor components together. That should be pretty cool. And then we'll just go from there. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for chilling. Till next time. Later.